Is shadow work the new therapy? I'm hearing shadow work everywhere. What is shadow work? Hiya, I'm Lorna. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Lorna and I do some vlogs, some unboxing, and I like to talk too. So I do kind of little podcast, and you can find my new Spotify podcast channel in my description box or in my bio, something like this. But I do some podcasts, so let's go for one new today. So I want to talk about shadow work because I'm hearing a lot of do some shadow work, introspection of yourself, blah blah blah, a lot of things like this when you're seeking for glow up, when you're seeking around this new mindset, having a new mindset, focus on yourself, everything like this. And there's always a part of shadow work. So let's put it into context. What is shadow work? Shadow work comes from a concept from Carl Jung. So if his name doesn't ring a bell, it's kind of a Freudian therapist. It's a psychiatrist from Switzerland, and he was kind of like the biggest followers of Freud. So in my opinion, not everything has to be, taking into account as pure gold when it comes from Freud and everything around it. Okay, so it's really surreal because it has been like forever that we put this part of psychology, psychiatry apart, and now from nowhere, from YouTube, from Instagram, we kind of raise this concept that this guy kind of problematic. I don't remember all the reason, but I think there's a majority of huge misogyny around their concept, calling women hysterical, really digging into something that is in a way very interesting, because it's interesting to look a bit further into what is sexual taboo and things like this, to discover things about the psyche of someone. So that's not a bad thing, but if we put this into context, they were not the best people to hang around when you were women. There's a great movie about Carl Jung, and I don't know, it doesn't make you really at ease. So if you want to have a look. But before you do some shadow work, just know what you're talking about, okay? So anyway, so this shadow work comes from Carl Jung, who talked about the me, I, subconscious, unconscious. I'm not familiar with all of this, even though I have been into therapy a lot. It's the worst therapy I could have has been a Freudian therapy, like was deep psychoanalysis, when you're just lay on the couch and you talk, and like the psychiatrist, the therapist doesn't tell you anything, and you're talking. This was my worst therapy. Didn't help at all. So 0% recommended. Anyway, I think this is a sort of therapy that works a lot for, therapists. Like when they are already, they have to be treated to treat you. So it's good. But if you're like a single person having some trouble, I don't advise you at all to start with a sort of therapy like this, like the Freudian therapy. So anyway, this, sort of me and conscious, subconscious, and you have the shadow. So a part which is repressed and a bit denied. I don't have all the words because I remember really briefly. I think we We talked about this subject and philosophy in school, but I don't remember really, and I didn't do my research fine for this video. Let's get into the real shadow work that influencer talked to you about. And it's this kind of therapy that comes from Jung concept, and also this new personal growth templates that you can find. So it's not something really hard to do. In a way, it's hard because you have to dig in yourself. This is the tricky part, you know, it's how you're gonna dig in yourself that is the tricky part. I bought one. I even bought one really to, you know, talk to you about what is good or not. I have less therapy session these days, so I guess, you know, this is also a good thing. I can have a template. This is from a YouTuber, French YouTuber, Constance. So it's called Ombre et Lumière. It's like a shadow and light, and you have, I'm not going to show you, but you have like, so the purpose is like to open this and briefly open it on any pages that you want, and then you got some question, and then you can answer. You can just do like one line if you want just to write one line, but sometimes, you know, you kind of try to, you let yourself go and you finish the page. But there's some question I didn't do more than like 3 lines. So sort of the question there is there some feeling I don't allow myself to feel? Okay. How do I define success? Is there a relationship that had me broken? I'm not going to tell you everything, but yeah, so this is kind of the template journal that you can find. You can find some on Amazon, really. You can find some a bit everywhere, really personal growth related. So I think it's not a bad idea. It's not a bad idea as a sort of additional tool to your therapy, but it shouldn't replace a real therapy. And this is why. Normally, when you're journaling, and I think it's really good, I've been journaling for ages, really, like since I was perhaps 10 or I don't know. And I've been dumping information on my journal. I've been really releasing all sorts of emotions. But on this one, I feel like it's a bit more narrow. It's a bit more, there's one question, so you're focusing a bit more on one question, and it doesn't give you space to go where your mind want to go, and it doesn't really, it kind of stay in, and this is the tricky part, because this is something I really don't like, and I know that people who believe in it are not, you know, we don't agree, but I'm not a big follower of law of attraction. I can come back to this later, but I don't really like this. I have some reason why, but in general, this is a total natural human concept that is completely valid, and I should have nothing against it, but I do. And I can come back later on in another video, I think, about law of attraction, because it's a bit of sensitive subject, I think. And the thing is that when you're doing shadow work like this on a template, you're a bit more manifesting. And this is how law of attraction comes in. I think when you're manifesting, it's really into one field. And it's normal, because you cannot like manifest. If you manifest a bit too large, it's not gonna work, you know. Well, again, that's what they say. So if you go really into only one field and you don't treat other subjects, you cannot use it as a therapy to know you really well and to replace an actual therapy with some shadow work, which is a bit like manifesting only on certain subjects. And why do you focus only on certain subjects? Firstly, because it's, as I said, it's a template. Also, because it gives you permission to only speak about what you want. And, you know, there's no one to stop you because it's only you. So it's something that is good for people who needs to kind of be a bit more delusional, just to, you know, see wider and, you know, don't stay really stuck into a really tiny stream of things that they see and that they want, like they believe they can have, so they only believe that they can want those things. As they only answer to those kind of specific questions, it's really easy to answer in a wrong way. It's really easy to take like a question that is, I don't know, what do you think your weaknesses are? And then you just avoid the one that are really important and that are troubling you in your daily life. And why is that? Sometimes it's a bit unconscious again, sometimes it's kind of unconscious, and so this shadow work isn't really helping you, because as you answer only to those kind of questions and you do it on your own, then you can be a bit biased and just tell you what you want to hear, and that's fine. I mean, again, if you want to, if it brings you life, and if you're really vulnerable and you need to, you know, just fool yourself a bit and feel that it's don't, you know, stir the pot too much onto the really negative thing that you know you are and you know you do. I think that's good. But for people who are like without any issues, I want to say, like neurotypical people who just want to do some shadow work because everybody on YouTube said you should do some shadow work to glow up internally. And I think that if you fool yourself too much and you write those things and they're wrong, and you just pair out the ones that are a bit important to say, like what are your real weaknesses or other answers like this, well, it will not be very helpful for you. It's good if it brings you gratefulness, again, if you're in a vulnerable place. So it's better if you write something that are good about yourself, that's good. But if you don't know how to treat this negative and shadow part of you, then you're just gonna keep it repressed, and I don't see the point. I don't really see the point. A part of, you know, purchasing a template from Amazon or from a YouTuber, I don't see the point if you just do it on your own without a therapy added to this. And why is this something that cannot be done properly? It's because you are not talking to someone else. It's the basic therapy when you're on the couch, clearly, and there's no one to, you know, give you the change. And so you're just talking to yourself, and you kind of, I don't know, just lying to yourself. And Is it really helpful? I don't think it's helpful. Therapy is way better, and I don't mean to say this in a preachful way that I have all the right answers, but I do. Really, it's better when you talk to someone. Like, even, I don't know, really, you should be really well in your body, in your shoes, to be practicing this couch therapy. If you're really on, I don't care, sofa, chair, what you want, and you have someone directly in front of you, it gives you something to connect with someone else, even though they don't really talk a lot, or they do, or any kind of relation that you have with this person. They kind of give you the change, and giving you some emotions. You can feel their emotions. So it's kind of a bit more difficult if in fact you're neurotypical and there's some emotion that you don't get, but it's often very helpful when you're having this conversation and you're talking to your therapist, and things that you say, they're not gone, they're not on the paper, they're not cannot say lies. You cannot tell lies. The person right in front of you will give you the this attitude where even though if it's a big lie, even if I don't know, you're convinced that you didn't do anything wrong, but you did, and so you keep saying, yeah, but I'm the victim, blah blah blah. And the thing is that having this other person makes you think about it, where with this journaling you can fool yourself. You can completely fool yourself. Like, it's dangerous, because I hope really that people are not gonna switch therapy with this. I purchased this shadow work template book because I wanted to, I was really curious, and I wanted to see what were the questions, and I don't know, I really wanted to have a look at what is this shadow work that we're all talking about. So I purchased it, and it's not bad to put myself, to wonder a bit more about my actions, my feelings, but it's I want to say that it's incomplete if I don't have a real therapy. There's the danger of not talking to someone, so completely lose yourself and not doing it right. But there's also the danger as seeing it as a chore. When you're journaling, it's because you want to dump information, you want to get everything out of your mind, and that's a good thing. But it takes some energy, and if you do it and it's something that you really, force yourself to do, it's not going to be natural, and you're not going to be doing it right. So as it's, on a journal with question, everything, it's, I don't know, it's good if you see it in a funny way. If the question, you like to think about yourself, it's a good thing. But if you are, again, without any therapy, and you need to dig a bit more in yourself, but you don't know where to start, and you have this journal in front of you, I guess there's 90% chance that it's gonna become a chore, because you're not very familiar in asking yourself questions, answering to them properly and in the right way. Yeah, it can be a bit like sometimes I don't do it. I keep them. There's like 365 questions, so 1 question per day for 1 year. And it's, you know, it's normal if you don't do it every day. I personally just keep it around on the table around my TV, and so when there's some advertising and I'm like, oh no, again some advertising, then I'm just doing it, and it goes really quick, like in 2-3 minutes I'm done. But you know, if I was about to say I have to do it, I will not do it. I know myself, I will not do it. Even more if you're not familiar with therapy and digging a bit more in yourself, it's something that is gonna be a bit difficult. And last thing, I think you can often change your personality with this kind of shadow work, because as it's, you know, revealing who you are, and there's nobody to tell you is it really right or not. You're just doing it in front of yourself. So if you want to be like, oh my god, I'm such a people pleaser, again, this is what I often hear, and I'm not convinced all those person are people pleaser. It's really weird. It's really weird that we are all surrounded by people pleaser. I don't feel like it. I know I'm not one, and I'm saying loud and clear, I don't care, I am not one. But if, you know, you're a bit like me, you're not a people pleaser, but you're kind of playing the victim, and you only have this book in front of you, then I think that you're going to change your personality a bit. Like, you can just completely be who you want to be. And again, this is perhaps a good thing if you want to be delusional, if you really have a low self-esteem, and that you need to trick you into thinking good thing about you, or well, trick you, you need to think better things about you, and so this can help you. But if you do it too much, like if it's a bit more conscious, I think that then you will be totally living a lie. And this is why there is too many I'm a people pleaser around us. I don't believe you. Anyway. Now you know, when people are talking about shadow work, they're mentioning this type of concept of Carl Jung, and kind of in a modern era, on a template on a journal, answering to some question. And it's a good thing. It's a good thing to know you deeply, to know what is repressed in you, to answer some question that you haven't thought about perhaps. And you know, like, I can take one example. This is fun. What is the object I feel the most connected to? I know a lot of people will answer the phone, but I don't know. I will have to think about it. There's the phone coming like this, because okay, I have my phone a lot in my hand, but is it really the... I don't know. I have to think about it, you know, but it's fun. Like, you can ask yourself question, and it's a bit like when you do some kind of test or stuff like this, and you post it on, well, boomer, okay, boomer, Facebook, I was about to say, or Instagram or stuff like this. Like, no one cares about it. I'm going to tell you, no one cares about it. But there's, you know, there's a little template that you can keep to yourself. And so it's a good thing. It can help you. Just perhaps if you do it as a therapy, it doesn't replace therapy. You need to add it to something else, because it's not going to work. It's not going to work at all. It's some toilet psychology again. I don't know the expression, but I invented it. I'm gonna label it Lorna. It's toilet psychology. It works. It works. It's not like living your life and not thinking about stuff. So it's a good thing, but it's not real therapy. Let's be honest. That's all for me for today. I hope you like this video and I'll see you in my next one. Cheers.